Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities. Aloha, everyone, and welcome. Oh my goodness, this is such an exciting time to be alive. And welcome to the Prosperity Playground, where love is at the center of everything we present to you and co-create with you. And we're so excited to be here at this epic time in the history of humanity, where we have discovered the truth about everything. Aloha, Baja girl. Oh, it's so good to see you. I've been missing seeing you over on Mark Z's chat and channel because, well, we've been in the deep dive of training, Allison and I, and we're so excited to share with you everything that we've been going through. Aloha, Bud, over on Rumble. He's from Pittsburgh. Aloha, the Crystal Lady Creations from Winlaw, BC. Oh my gosh, we've had some amazing conversations with some of you, and we're just so grateful. And I hope that you enjoyed that opening video. I've been mentioning to you that as a holistic health practitioner for over 3 decades, 35 years since I woke up to the truth about the geopolitics going on in the United States of America, the illegal corporation, and on the holistic health journey of being a metaphysician. A metaphysician is somebody who takes a look at the problem or the issues that are going on in our personal lives and then chooses to see what solutions we may have all around us that we didn't see because we were not activated in a higher dimension of ourselves. And when we pray, chant, do rituals, combine together, come together in a group, in a community, and hold each other's dreams in our hearts, because when 2 or more people are gathered together and holding those dreams, miracles happen. A miracle is a shift in our perception from what we thought we knew to, oh my gosh, there's a whole nother realm here. There's the ethers that I learned about in 33 years ago from Unity Church. They surround us. A lot of people say that's where the Holy Spirit is. Resonance field is. The morphogenic fields that surround us and activate our light bodies. We are crystalline bodies of light. And yet our government, the controllers of the world, have puppeted us to believing that we needed to go to a licensed medical doctor, that we can't diagnose, heal, treat, or cure any disease because they had a brand on it. And it goes way beyond that. And as you know, there are 17,000 doctors who have joined together, locked arms, to get the WHO to stop promoting the vaccines because they know that those injuries that we've been witnessing with our family, our friends, our loved ones, and communities and their loved ones. I mean, for me, it's just been a horrible nightmare. And they want them to stop because they know that they mess up our brain, create blood clots, affect our heart, our internal organs, and our reproductive systems. And this has been going on ever since that no baby should ever be injected when they're a day old, says Judy Mikovits. This crap needs to stop. And if you still believe these things are doing you good and protecting you, you please catch up. Follow Del Bigtree, follow Judy Mikovits, follow Dr. Tenpenny, Christiane Northrup, Joe Mercola. There's so many truther doctors that saw it when it happened, just like I did, that was not right, just like Allison did. And many of you, how many of you took your power back and said, no, thank you. I'm taking a hard pass on wearing a mask because we know that studies, we need fresh air. Those masks, debunked. And the injections, no, thank you. So, that's a hot button for me because it's very sad when I hear about a woman having a miscarriage or that she gave a stillborn birth. And as a mother who breastfed both of my sons so that they could have all the nutrition that comes from mother's milk. One, over 2 years for my first son, less time with my second son, and they were 5 years apart. And I believe that my conversation with Colleen yesterday, who lives in Winlaw, Canada, she and I were talking about telomeres because I've studied telomeres since 2014. And that is part of our DNA. And from the time we're born, we have our DNA and our telomeres. Think of it like a shoestring. And on the end of the shoestring, it's wrapped in plastic, hard-coated plastic. And then as that plastic starts to wear off the shoestring, it starts to fray, right? It starts to come undone. And that's what happens with our stem cells. We start to age and then we begin to lose them. And then once we start feeding ourselves super powerful nutraceuticals or nutrition, then we see that we've slowed down the aging process. We can remain flexible. And I've been a big proponent on a pure amino acid nutritional shake since 2003. This has been what my research and studies back then have told us, that this is really important. But what Colleen said was, Nancy, you know what else they do at birth? When you mention telomeres, it makes me think that why we go into that rapid aging really, really fast. And she said it's because the placenta is cut from the baby, from the mother right away. She says we need to keep the placenta connected to the baby for hours after they're born so they can continue absorbing those nutrients. And I thought that was very interesting, Colleen. Way to go. So with this technology that we're exploring now, Allison and I, we have just received our order of patches, and we're very excited about that one. This one here, I put there because it's one for my skin, and I have one on the back of my neck. And this actually, Allison and I got to read the deep dive studies on how the patches, well, this light therapy, it's a non-transdermal. There's nothing in the patches except the crystalline light that will reflect and begin healing and repairing your body. It doesn't cure anything, although the double-blind studies were very impressive to me. I'm big on double-blind studies, whether it's using a product or prayer. It's so important. There's people who say patch and pray, because when we gather together and we send that healing light over to somebody, we are actually intercepting the morphogenic fields, the light power, and we're sending them that miracle healing from our hands of light. I first read the book by Miss Brennan after I got sober, so about 1990, The Healing Hands of Light. We have the power, and the cabal and Illuminati didn't want us to have that. And so we've been living under not only a tax slave system where we've been trained to work 40, 60 hours a week, uh, and get your spouse or your partner working for us too. Yeah. And I broke through that in 1990. I recognized the illegal tax system with my husband, and I declared, I am going to do whatever it takes to give this corrupt IRS less of our money, this corrupt government. And so I was the only one in my sphere of influence who had this knowledge. And when I would talk about it, they'd be like, okay, yeah, IRS, Nancy's a little wacky. Well, now we know it's absolutely true. There's evidence, and it is going down to be replaced with the United States Treasury. And it already has. If we're seeing anything on the news, this has all taken place, folks. That's why alternative news is making headlines. And as the mainstream media goes down in their numbers, the alternative media is soaring. Great shows like Redacted, and there's just so many of them. So it's important to me that we realize how powerful we are. And so in 1990, that's when I had my second spiritual awakening, where I went through a process, and I found out that was that. Has anybody ever done Amway? It was Amway. I was involved for 6 months, and it was a very educational experience, because what I recognized then is that I wasn't the only one who was a dreamer. These people who were breaking through the matrix and getting outside of that corporate paradigm of JOBs, just over broke, I wanted to continue learning and working from home so I could be with my kids. That was so important to me. It was more important than anything. We had this big, beautiful log home in the woods that we created from the big old growth cedar stumps that we cleared out and the fir trees. It was an amazing experience. And yet, being someone who was recognizing that we had the power to co-create our future, because whatever we focus on expands, and our relationships are healthy relationships. I'm not talking about caretaking people and listening to drama and gossip about other people. That's low energy vibration for me. And so I wanted to attract and be with people who had the wisdom, or wanted to learn the wisdom of breaking through being a victim into being a powerful woman, because I worked with women. So powerful man, if you're a man or male, there's only two sexes, male and female, right? So if if you're somebody who wants to activate your intuitive intelligence system, and perhaps you already have, let me know if you have, because this is where all the magic and miracles is, because it's our innate, that means you're born with it, God-given superpowers. Use whatever word fits you. And those superpowers are here to align you, to attract. Remember the law of attraction? Well, of course, I love the word love better. So the love of attraction, because when we're in our hearts, we're emanating radiance, we're aligning, and we're calling forth all the earth angels, the healers, the ministers, the creators, all the people who are tapped in, tuned into their higher mind with the Christed golden elixir that we're born with, running up and down our meridians and our emotional energy centers, also known as chakras. This is a true, real thing. Once you tap into that and connect to that, you don't, yes, we love GPS, but before GPS was created, I would be lost in Canada in a country I'd never been to before. And my assistant Ann and I would be sitting there going, oh gosh, what do we do now? And so we'd say, okay, Spirit, tell us which way to turn. And then I'd get in resonance. It comes through resonance. And the answer was turn left. And this is where most people haven't been taught how to live because of the corruption that we've been living under since birth. I've been saying that I want to, start gradually coming back to that because that's my purpose. That's my passion. I've seen it, what happens when people who either live alone or are lonely and or people who are like me and love being around the synergy of healthy, sweet, and beautiful dreamers and people like who have the light mind switched on to gather together and co-create miracles in our relationships, our finances, our health, our families, our intuition. I mean, the list goes on. It's infinite. Our infinite light bodies are connected to something bigger than our egos. Our egos are the ones that says, oh yeah, right, she's all woo-woo. Well, I can accept and appreciate your opinions, and those are yours. I'm just sharing mine. Are you feeling better being connected in a community? Are you seeing how a community in its power, when two or more are gathered together, will activate all that you need, all that you have, and all that you receive in gratitude? Gratitude is the first step. Waking up in the morning, I have a gratitude bracelet on that my daughter-in-law gave me. It's so sweet. And it says gratitude. Every day, I am grateful for the gift of life, the gift of love, the gift of friends, and most importantly, the gift of a higher purpose. So if this resonates with you, feel free to email me at nancy@nancykerner.com and let me know if you're interested in hearing more about patches. We're going to have a soft launch coming up on Friday. I'm actually going out of town for the weekend. Allison will be holding down the realm. She'll be checking in Discord and Telegram direct messages. I will be limited on my engagement and activity because I simply won't have a connection to Wi-Fi for the most part. So it's a much needed respite. It's much needed for my husband and I to unplug together and to have the time on our favorite lake, paddling on paddle boards and paddling in our canoes, our kayaks, motoring around in his little boat and just soaking up all those healthy sun rays and rejuvenating and regenerating our tissues and cells through the vitamin D that comes into our skin through the sunlight. We know the truth about the sun and the healing effects of nature. There's nothing like it. I love spending time with my husband and having food and meals together. I was going to say break bread, but we don't do much bread. So I'm very, very honored, humbled, and grateful because Allison and I have been blessed and gifted with a beautiful team of earth angels who've taken us under their wing. And if you know Jeremy, Phil, Todd Father, then you know that we are connected with them. And so please know that if you do decide to try on a patch for your personal use or become a brand partner, that you are connected to Phil as a result of our team. We've been rolled out the red carpet. We're humble. We're honored to be a part of the most revolutionary product I have seen come out in a long time. As you know, I love frequency healing with the Wave Watch. I do look forward to seeing, I'm going to take some before pictures, write down my health issues that I may be having. One of them is my gums. I've seen the testimonials on gums and so many other things. Allison and I will do a video that actually shares more information with you later. Right now, though, we just wanted to give you a heads up so that you can let us know if you're interested, so we can talk to you before I leave town, if that's your desire. This is going to be an entrance into our future as we navigate these health waters, so to speak, of repairing that DNA as we move towards having med beds replace the toxic chemotherapy and poisonous solutions that the medical association has been putting into our bodies. I've known this for decades, that's what those treatments do. And when I became a holistic health practitioner in the year 2000, in my Doctor of Divinity studies at the American Institute of Holistic Health, that was when I realized, getting phone calls and emails from people whose business it was to go find the new licensed holistic health practitioners and others and to pitch their chemotherapy labs, or what do you call them? Waiting rooms, clinics. They said, you know how much money you can make if you put chemotherapy in your office? I didn't I didn't want anything to do with that. And it wasn't much long after that I actually saw the Seattle Post Intelligencer and the Seattle Times when I was riding my Harley, my full dresser. My husband and I stopped to get gas, and we saw those headlines on the papers, and it read, chemotherapy handlers are getting cancer themselves. Mic drop. That was it. That was my confirmation back then that I was on the right track. Thank God I had a grandmother who taught me about nutrition and supplements and the garden that she walked me through. My grandfather would point out every supplement and say, this one's good for the eyes, this one's good for this one's good for that. Very impressive grandparents. Dysfunctional as all get out, alcoholic, my grandfather was, lots of problems there. And those permeated into my mother's life, and she was the victim of a lot of that abuse. And so when I got sober, I said, I am breaking the chain of abuse. And I'm really grateful that spirit came into my life when I called forth and said, I need help. If there is a God, please help me. I need to change. I had one foot out of my marriage and one foot in the drug and alcohol world, and I broke the chain at that moment, because guess what? Right after that, my cravings were all taken away. And so I love that we have more options to help reduce those cravings for those addictions by improving our mindset, our positivity, because what we put in here is showing up in our life. If you don't like what's going on in your life, write down those issues that you want to say, be gone. I like to see a can of shit be gone, or drama be gone, whatever, because we don't need that. That keeps us chained to the third dimensional reality that everybody is believing in. Well, not everybody, not you. If you're watching this, you're either curious or you know the truth. And so I applaud you. So let us know. I know the truth, Nancy. I know the truth. Or are you just waking up and you're a newbie? We are putting our angel arms, our angel wings of light around you, and we're going to do the best that we can to help you heal your body, repair your stem cells, your organic health and nutrition needs, so that you can have more energy, more life force, and begin to age backwards. Does that sound good or good? Okay, we have a lot to cover. There's plenty going on in the geopolitical world today. There's a lot in the financial. The RV is on fire. And we are moving into Memorial Day weekend. Holy doodles. It's going to be epic to see what happens today, tomorrow, the next day, next week. We've never been here before. This is the Great Awakening. We are returning the power of our politics, our finances, our health. We're returning all of that to we the people. And I happen to be a visionary. And so, as a visionary, I see things that I would like to co create, like peace on earth, prosperity playground, higher consciousness, love, and skills and tools to be the best that we can be from the heart, gentle, being gentle yet fun-loving creatures. If you know me, I'm animated. You know, my energy is high, my dreams and visions are big, and I had no idea that when Allison and I created the CPR for our next step in our journey, what would transpire. It's nothing short of miraculous. I want to give a quick shout out to Tina. She's creating a new logo for me. And bless you, Tina. So glad you showed up when you did. And to Beth, who is our trainer, we're so grateful for all the hard work you're helping with Jeremy, and to Phil and Todd and all of the team who've surrounded us in a body of light to make sure that we get everything that we need to be responsible and activate our beautiful human light bodies. Once I had my spiritual awakening, my light body was activated, and I started seeing white auras around people at the end of a 12-step meeting, holding hands in a circle, saying the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that blew me away. I'm like, what is going on? I asked my husband, do you see that light around everybody? He said, no. And I thought, well, maybe it's just me. I still see it. And so a lot of people, healers, you might be one of them, that see that different colors of radiant light around people. Mine is always just clear like a halo. And it's a beautiful thing. And it took me a while to accept that I had activated my inner light body then. And so this is very exciting. And yet we do want to tell you that there's a lot of exciting things happening. Following Q for the last 4 years has taught Allison and I that we are watching the movie, because anything that you see coming out in the mainstream news, like the stuff we're going to tell you, has already happened. It's already happened. This is truly what they are showing the public so that everyone can wake up at their own pace, no matter what the trigger is that helps you to wake up. I was just talking to a woman, and she was telling me that what woke her up was learning and discovering about the adrenochrome and the children and the trafficking. I went, whoa, that's a hard red pill to wake up to. I didn't learn that right away. And she did in 2020. So there were a lot of people who were actually aware of it. I mean, I saw some movie stars, you know, Demi Moore out there talking about human trafficking and stuff. And yet I had no idea what was going on, really. It's enough to make you sick. And so that's why we are together, because we need to grieve. We need to have that anger, because if you know the stages of grief, you need to acknowledge that anger that you have within you, and also move through, you know, because at first it's denial. Don't even know I am lying. It's a denial. You know, no, 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 no. Cognitive dissonance, cotton in the ears. Don't tell me that. I can't believe it. And so for her to see that and to tap into that right away must have been taking a lot of courage. And we don't want you to be alone as you're waking up and moving through this process. Yet we do invite you to our Discord channel to make friends, because everybody has a different awareness of what's gone on in the past. And unless you spent the last 4 years, like I have, full time learning the true history of our Earth, of who the Khazarians are. They're the ones who have been controlling the earth all this time, and how they've wiped out different civilizations intentionally. And that's the connection to that with what's been happening with the bioweapon. aka the COVID vaccine, the bioweapon. Their intent was to reduce the population to 500 million people. They failed. We woke up. Yes, they did take a lot of souls in this process. The last thing that you want to do is to ignore the effects that it has had on you psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's why I went to the computer in 2021 when I saw the J6 BS that was being pumped out on the mainstream media, and the horrific attacks on Donald J. Trump was because the cabal didn't want him in there. They didn't want General Flynn to expose where all their deep, dark secrets were, because he knew. And that's why they attacked General Flynn. And he is a hero, what he went through. If he didn't agree to stop moving forward, then they were going to arrest his son. What would you do? Wouldn't you back off too if they were going to arrest your son and put them through the hell that they put three people through who are not in alignment with their evil, corrupted views in the world and their control and power over us through our money, health, etc.? I would probably back off too. And General Flynn said, I don't know what I would have done if they would have arrested him. I don't like to think about what I might have done. Well, I know what my husband would have done, and it wouldn't be pretty. There is an innate sense to protect our families. Innate. I have it. You have it. We will do anything to protect our children. I'm not talking about enabling our children to live on our couch and get a free ride. I'm talking about protecting them from lawfare. This is illegal lawfare going on. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to take a breath and let Allison pull up our first opening. Okay, so this is the first. If you're not watching what's going on Capitol Hill, it's amazing. It's incredible. We have a lot to share, and here we go.
Know this morning about the theft of $30,000, which was doubled because they covered his taxes, so $60,000. It came out in a glancing, unclear way on direct. It came out like a bomb earlier today. I don't know how much they can do to fix that. It just, at a certain point, it is the fact Michael Cohen did steal this money. And what makes that really so important, Wolf, is it's not as if Michael Cohen was just stealing on the side. That'd be bad enough. The problem is he was stealing from the exact reimbursement at issue in this case. So the prosecution's core argument is Donald Trump knew what that $420,000 was all about. He was totally read in on it. Turns out Michael Cohen was stealing from him within that $420,000.
Does Michael Cohen's admission that he stole tens of thousands of dollars from the Trump organization potentially open him up to further criminal prosecution?
It's a great question. The answer is not anymore because the statute of limitations has run out. But it's a very fair question to ask. Gee, folks of the jury, they gave him a free pass. He committed larceny. It's a higher degree of a felony than what Donald Trump is charged with. Yet they gave Michael Cohen a free pass, even though he's now admitted that he stole what amounts to $60,000. It goes to his credibility. It goes to his relationship with the DA.
You gotta love it. Right on CNN. Hello. That's also known as the Clinton Network, the Clinton News Network. So Michael Cohen is being called out for what we knew he was years ago, because we were doing the deep dive, that he is a liar and a fraud. Now, remember when we posted in my live last week, we introduced you to Ian, the guy with the bald head, green beret, attorney. Guess what? Guess where he was? He's on Capitol Hill, sitting right behind Bob Costello, who was the attorney that Cohen went to. He actually went to not Bob Costello directly. He went to Bob's associate, and this associate put a meeting together with Costello, with Cohen, and when they met in this hotel, Cohen was suicidal. He was scared to death, and Costello was asking him, did Trump do anything wrong? No. Did Trump pay it? No. And so he had all the goods right then and there. And now he's exposing everything that Cohen had said on Capitol Hill in the congressional hearings. This is explosive. And remember what Ian said. He said, or Ivan, pardon me. Ivan said that they are going to engage with the sheriffs to go in and duly arrest all these bad actors. They have the goods on them. So I'm just telling you this now to set this tone and the stage for this next video. Keep an eye when Bob Costello, he's one of the two gray-haired guys, on his right shoulder, you will see our beautiful bald-headed Ivan on his right. So enjoy.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
From the testimony of Michael Cohen's lawyer, Mr. Costello. These days, you see individuals running for prospective office who claim, if you elect me, I will bring down this public figure or that public figure who disagrees with my political philosophy. Understand that to destroy a political rival, you need not convict that person of a crime. All you must do is leak the fact that the individual is being investigated for a particular crime, thereby destroying his or her reputation and causing that individual to incur legal fees to defend themselves. The net result is, if you can destroy their reputation and bankrupt them with legal fees, you have effectively eliminated or canceled your opposition without ever convicting them of a crime or getting a civil judgment against them. Mr. Costello, I just wanted to say I felt very seen by your testimony that was provided to the committee. But I want to get back to what Mr. Lynch said previously, that sometimes when you're accused of something, it's actually the people accusing you who are doing that thing. Now, you were accused of illegally dangling a pardon before Michael Cohen, right?
Correct.
And that was a lie.
Absolutely.
That accusation could not withstand any scrutiny or review from the Southern District of New York, where Mr. Goldman worked, where other great attorneys have worked, right?
And where I worked.
Right, but that dangling, that accusation of dangling something improper. Remember what Mr. Lynch said. If you're being accused of that, maybe it's the people doing the accusing. Now, Mr. Trustee, you described a searing fact pattern moments ago. You accused a Department of Justice official of an extortionist ploy to dangle a judgeship before a lawyer to get that lawyer to betray their client, Walt Nada, right?
Yes, I have no reason to disbelieve that lawyer.
And who was the Department of Justice official that engaged in that extortionist ploy?
Well, the lead person in that conversation was Jay Bratt, who's still currently assigned to the Southern District of Florida case.
What is that? I mean, for those of you who've been prosecutors, who've dedicated your lives to the rule of law, what does it tell us about the shape of the legal system that you have people with the ability to do what Mr. Costello laid out in testimony, to charge you with a crime, destroy your reputation, bankrupt you, like they're trying to do to Walt Nada, a patriot who served in our military, and then to hear this claim that they were literally trying to compromise the lawyer? How should we reflect on a legal system that permits that?
It's broken. I had a friend of mine from the Department of Justice text me not too long ago, and he said, it's going to take decades for the department to fix itself. And I love that place. I worked there. I was a prosecutor for 27 years, but I am fearful that we've crossed the Rubicon by being ends justify the means, by engaging in selective targeting and differential treatment. And I don't know how it ends or how it gets better, but I'm happy to at least bring evidence about that issue.
Well, and that's why these hearings are so necessary. I think that we would love to stay well constrained within our Article 1 lane. But when we've got this Article 2 process that is unloading on political rivals and Article 3 courts, as Mr. Costello said, the only way to have a check and a balance on that system is for the Congress to step forward and utilize its tools, the most profound being the power of the purse. But indeed, we have powers of impeachment and oversight that are important as well. Mr. Costello, is Michael Cohen a liar?
That doesn't begin to describe him. He lies at every opportunity when it's in his favor. And I mean, I could, if you had a half an hour or 45 minutes, I could start to list the many lies that he told us.
Well, let's just triage them. Is there a single branch of government that Michael Cohen hasn't lied to?
Gee, I think there isn't.
Right. I mean, you really have to work hard to hit the hat trick. I mean, it's one thing to lie to investigators, and I guess it's another thing to lie to Congress, but to lie to investigators and then Congress and then courts.
Don't forget the judges.
Yeah, the
judges. He lied to the judge too when he pled guilty.
And it's just so odd. I mean, it's not every day you see someone's former lawyer having to come forward and say, I regrettably have to inform the Congress, the court, whomever, that my own client, I am aware, is a liar.
Thank goodness he was foolish enough to execute the waiver of the attorney-client privilege, because he was trying to implicate Rudy Giuliani and myself in a crime,
So
which was
you even lied
absurd.
about that? He even lied about trying to turn on you, and I guess his lies are defied by his other lies and the writings and the paperwork, and this liar should not be able to hold our elections hostage, and that is why this hearing is so critical. I yield back.
Okay, so there are videos on YouTube that Forbes posted that has much more extensive, explosive information around Bob Costello's testimony, where he rips them all, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. And I hope you get a chance to see some of that. I wasn't able to bring it all up here to show you today because we only have so much time, and so do you, and we honor and value your time. So we are, we have some things that I'd like to highlight, people who said, let's see. Do you mind if I highlight Baja Girl? Let's see. Baja Girl said, I ask God, if I slow down and meditate, will you give me the energy in my mind, body, spirit to go through each day? I heard yes. I also would love to get off my medication for ADHD. Well, girlfriend, I hope we can help you. This is so amazing to see all these beautiful people. I am overwhelmed with some of these comments. And here's another one. May I activate, from Baja Girl, may I activate my light body, have joy and peace, and most of all, energy. And so it is. Woohoo! It's amazing, the power of the word, right? Our words co-create our reality, our energy, and our vibration. So now we have something that's very exciting. We've known he's been taken care of for a long time, yet now it's making news. BB, are you ready, Allison?
Today, that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023. The crimes include starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts. It's alleged that these crimes were committed in the context of the ongoing armed conflict and as part of a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population of Gaza, pursuant to a state policy. Unfortunately, these crimes continue to this day. My office submits that these individuals, through a common plan, have systematically deprived the civilian population of Gaza of objects indispensable to human survival. We have reached that conclusion based upon interviews with survivors, many eyewitnesses, experts, from satellite imagery, statements from Israeli officials, including the 2 individuals subject to the present application, as well as based upon several hundred authenticated videos, photographs, and audio recordings, many of which were taken and shared by victims and eyewitnesses themselves. This systematic deprivation resulted from a decision to impose a total siege on Gaza by completely closing the 3 border crossing points, Rafah, Kerem Shalom, and Erez, for extended periods of time, and by arbitrarily restricting the transportation of essential supplies, including food and medicine, through the border crossings after they were reopened. The siege, the total siege, also involved cutting off cross-border water pipelines from Israel to Gaza, which is the principal source of clean water for the population in Gaza. It was cut off for prolonged periods beginning on the 9th of October 2023, and it was accompanied by the cutting off or hindering of electricity supplies to Gaza from the 8th of October 2023 until today.
Okay, so this is very, very important. And our next little post we're going to show you is from the International Criminal Court. And go ahead, Allison, let's pull that up there. Biden calls International Criminal Court, the ICC, prosecutors' application for the arrest warrants against Israel as outrageous. Well, we think it's outrageous that nothing has happened up until now, and we're celebrating this wholeheartedly. And as Allison scrolled down, she got some information there. And Washington, U.S. President Joe Biden on Monday called the International Criminal Court, the ICC, prosecutors' application for arrest warrants against the Israeli leaders outrageous and promised the United States will stand with Israel. No, we don't, because we know Israel was created just like the United States corporation was created from the Khazarians, aka the royal crown, etc. And so they're the same as us. They're a country that was created illegally and presented as something else. You know, my dad, before he passed, he said, you know, they just need to cut the ties with Israel. And he was a GS-6, a civilian who worked on resupplying the naval sea ships and their supplies. We lived in Hawaii for a time. They lived there for a long time. I only lived there a couple of times during high school in 1976. And so, you know, I didn't understand what he meant by then. And I would love to talk to my dad. I'm communicating with him and asking him questions. And so, you know, he used to really enjoy listening to Russian TV, Russian news. And I didn't understand that either. And so now I have an understanding of what my sweet daddy was trying to say before he passed away, either wittingly or unwittingly. Now, I know that we have had a few comments, Allison. I'm going to take a look at here. We had, one moment, please. I did see something on Rumble. I know the truth. Yes, you do, Crystal Lady. Oh, my goodness. They are so amazing. And her woundness says to you, Baja girl, you go, girl. And Margaret, this is the one. Thank you, Allison. I have God. They can't take that away from me, no matter what. Right? So I want to give a big shout out to Allison in this divine moment right now, because when we went to bed last night, I said, I don't know what tomorrow's show is going to be like or what's going to be on it. And when I got up this morning, she had so much prepared for me to be able to look at. And I'm so grateful to Allison. You have gone above and beyond. You are the perfect, powerful, and prosperous producer I could have ever attracted. And I like to say that Allison's has a new name. It's Amazing, Activated, and Aligned Allison. So those are what, 4 A's? You can just call her the A team. She is aligned.
And here I was going to say, how about AAA? But it's quadruple A. I couldn't think of any A's to begin with. And look at you. You just came up with them all. Thank you. I love doing it because I know it's making a difference for people, to give them hope and light and empowering. You know, that's what it's all about. And it's what gives me motivation for any and everything, to know that it's making a difference. Can't buy that. So
You make
my
me want to
pleasure.
cry.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Allison. Well, I was in the tub, meditating in the tub with spirit, and we had a different opening, and I wasn't feeling it. I was thinking, oh no. And she was having the same feeling while I was there, and we were aligned in our minds. And then she found that opening that she shared, which felt so much better in my beautiful crystalline body of light. And I hope it did for you too. So with that, we're going to move on to another big X. We know he's been gone and taken care of, yet he's finally making the news. KLAUS, Mr. Klaus Schwab. What do you have, Allison? Okay, let me make this.
Sorry, I was trying to pull it up, and there's not a video, but I'll be happy to cover it for you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Sure. So, breaking Klaus Schwab, the Bogiter, steps down as WEF chairman. He founded the World Economic Forum in 1971, announces his departure as executive chairman, transitioning to a non-executive role in 2025. Yeah, but he's transitioning. Speculation surrounds his decision with reasons ranging from health issues to WEF's future direction. Schwab's family members taking on high-ranking roles raises questions about the continuity of his vision, and a search for the new executive chairman is underway. I saw another post that somebody said, "Yeah, we ought to get Victoria Nuland in there," and I'm like, "I don't know about that, but wouldn't be much better." Ah,
Oh, that
only
meant
happening.
taking Victoria Nuland out too.
Right.
She's a bad apple.
Yeah, she's no bueno.
So
So
how does this feel seeing that making headlines? He's the evil, corrupt controller of the
all the
WEF.
yeah, all of the pieces are starting to fall into place, and it's coming out in the mainstream. I mean, look at that clip we showed, the first one we showed on Michael Cohen. CNN is even saying it. I don't know how they're going to fix that. They're definitely, it's beyond panic now. I'm pretty sure. Just saying.
Yes, and it's so joyful for us to see that, because I don't know about you, but I have a lot of friends who really admired Klaus Schwab and the whole bullshit climate change agenda to keep us locked down and shut down and fearful, afraid to go out under the sun, afraid to, do anything. And yet people would go, "Oh, whatever Klaus Schwab says, we're going to do." They totally captured people's minds and hearts with the WEF, good meaning people,
Yeah.
loving, spiritual, beautiful people.
Yep. They wanted to do something good. But what got me, and red flags went up when they started saying the little slogan, "You will eat bugs and own nothing and be happy." No, I don't think
No.
so. Maybe you will be happy, but I won't.
No.
And then we have Mr. Merrick.
Oh,
Mr.
let's
Garland.
watch Mr. Merrick. Merrick, what's his name? Full name?
Merrick Garland.
Garland, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get this going here for you.
During my time off for maternity, after I was told that I could not vote, I actually spent that time reading the House Rulebook and Manual. And there's something that hasn't been used since the early 1900s called inherent contempt of Congress. It's actually something that any one individual member reserves. The Attorney General thought he was above the law and did not comply, not just with one subpoena, but with two subpoenas. Those are subpoenas from both Chairman Jordan and Chairman Comer. I want to read this to you because ultimately, if in 10 days the Department of Justice does not do their job and hold the Attorney General responsible, just like they would any other American, I think that it should be our job in the House of Representatives to bring an inherent contempt proceeding against the Attorney General, of which I've already filed that privilege motion over a week ago. I would like to read it real quickly and saying that resolved that if in 10 days after the passage of this report, the Department of Justice had failed to indict Attorney General Garland, the Speaker of the House of Representatives shall issue his warrant commanding the Sergeant at Arms or his duty to take into custody the body of the said Attorney General Garland, wherever found, and bring him to the said Attorney General Garland before the bar of the House of Representatives, then and there to provide documents, materials, and answer such questions pertinent to the matter under inquiry as the House of Representatives may order the Speaker of the House of Representatives to propound and to keep the said Attorney General Garland in custody to await further orders of the House of Representatives. This is something that we reserve as an authority in order to bring back order to a House that has seemed to have forgotten it.
Yahoo-wee, bring it down, burn it down. Merrick Garland, totally corrupt, in contempt with Congress. They're going after everyone, and there's no mistake, in my humble opinion, that Ivan is sitting there in these congressional hearings. That is fantastic. Now we do have, I hope Allison has that fun little video of Mark, and we're going to have a little short video of our beloved Mark Z.
Right.
And
We're staying alive, staying alive. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, all right. We all know those. It was good stuff.
What's running around right now, guys, and I think there's actually some truth to it with the upheaval in Iran. Hearing that Iran is suddenly on the table for the revaluation, and I'm waiting for updates. Most of what I'm getting is rates should be resettled on Wednesday, but I don't know what it means timing wise. But it actually makes sense to me because of where the sources that gave it to me are from and their connections. It honestly makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it has been quiet. We're still trying to get translations copies, but in Iraq, they are not releasing some of the specifics of the 2023, 2024, 2025 budget that they approved and announced yesterday. So it's driving me a bit nuts. Keep running into some brick walls on specifics. I want to know if there's a rate in there. But talking to some of the group leaders and Treasury source, to me, it makes sense that they are scrambling to readjust rates after the Iranian. I mean, that could be huge. We're talking about the butcher of Tehran. This could be big.
I find it fascinating that at the time of this helicopter crash, there is a corresponding Q drop that talks about that. And also, more importantly, that Iran has joined the BRICS nation. So tie those two things together. We are moving towards the Nasara Jasara, folks. We don't know when. We don't know if it'll be all done at once. Yet the first thing that happens is the Black Swan event, the market taking a huge drop as they remove those corrupted corporations, which are a lot, that have been controlling the flow of products from their multi-gazillion dollar, friends who gather together and say, for example, if they create a product and then you look at who is connected to that, you can follow the money and you can see that they are just playing a game of checkers or hide the truth about who they are. Yet when you peel off all the hidden information and see the truth that all these corporations have been running the stock market. It's such a phony, fake stock market. And a lot of people are doing the happy dance because it's been going up. Well, remember, we said it's going to melt up before it melts down. Silver and gold prices are up. If you haven't had a chance to get silver, this is the lowest you're ever going to see it. It hit $31 and something that yesterday or the day before. Yesterday, I guess. Today's only Tuesday. So why do we keep talking about metals, gold and silver? Because it is the only thing that is going to make our new currency legitimate and backed by something. And the moment that the United States Treasury notes and whatever country you live in, when they release their new currencies, because remember, through the RV, we're buying up and getting rid of all their old currency, because when we go to the RV, when we go to the redemption center with our currency, it's going to flood the world with humanitarians who are in a position to do more to move us forward and replace these corrupt corporations with natural healing modalities, clean water, products that have been known to cause cancer will either be labeled with that, like toothpaste with fluoride in it that takes out your pineal gland, blocks it so that you're not connected to the life source within you. All those things are going to change, whether your products come with a warning, this may cause cancer, or whether they're removed completely like other countries have been doing for years, decades. Some don't even allow McDonald's because they know the truth about McDonald's products. They have, some countries have higher standards than we do, which wouldn't take a lot. So that's why it's important that the healers and the dreamers who are combining their gifts, or the financial people who we know who will help us to prepare to be the movement of light, of prosperity, and of truth in the future. Raise your hand if you say, I'm in for that, because I'm 100% in. I can't wait until it stops. And it's because you know what, the way to get out of the matrix, watch the movie The Matrix, and you'll see so many truths unveiled there. The way to get out of the matrix is to have alternatives for your mind, your body, your finances, etc. And so that's why we talk about silver, and we love Mark Z. So now we're going to move over into Warren Buffett. I heard and read 2 years ago that he was holding like $80 million in cash. Well, guess what? He's more than doubled that cash. So this gentleman's going to educate everybody a little bit on Warren Buffett.
Superstar investor Warren Buffett recently announced that he is now sitting on $188 billion of cash. That would be Buffett's biggest hoard ever, and it's almost twice what he was sitting on 2 years ago. In case you wonder who has cash in this economy of ours, Buffett's hoard is concerning for two reasons. First, it suggests he thinks markets are grotesquely overvalued, or that they will crash, or disruptions is how he put it. The second reason is even more ominous. Buffett represents a trend across large American companies of parking hundreds of billions in government bonds instead of investing in actual companies. That transfers America's investment firepower from the productive economy to the parasitic Leviathan feasting on that productive economy. So first, the details. Berkshire's latest financials reported that cash on hand jumped by nearly $22 billion in just 3 months. That eclipses the previous record from 2021. In fact, it's 8 times the amount Buffett had set aside for the 2008 crisis. It gets worse in the letter itself, where Buffett talks about why he is holding so much cash. First, the obvious reason that he thinks companies are overvalued. So Buffett's method is going through every public company with an X-ray and a proctoscope to find value. Apparently, he is not finding it at these prices. Keep in mind, Buffett's been epically wrong before. He was sitting on a huge stash of cash in 2009, for example, on the eve of a historic bull run that took stocks up 6-fold. Still, he's got a pretty good track record. Next up is the unsettling reason. So Buffett floats the possibility of a crash, a quote, market seizure, as he puts it, that Berkshire could swoop into, which is a polite way to say we could see blood on the streets, metaphorically, of course. Indeed, Buffett worries that, quote, markets now exhibit far more casino-like behavior than when I was young. So what would such a seizure look like? It could be a 1987-style Black Monday, when the Dow plunged 23% in a day, or it could be what happened in 2008, when even white shoe stalwart Goldman Sachs came begging for money that Buffett was happy to provide at a price, as analyst Lance Roberts puts it, quote, he who has the gold makes the rules. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Beyond crashes and seizures, the broader concern is what that $188 billion says about the conversion of our once free-range economy into a government zoo. After all, if you've got $188 billion burning a hole in your pocket, you don't bury it in the yard, you don't even bury it in the bank, you park it in bonds, which pay interest. And not just any bonds, government bonds, which are liquid enough to handle the load. In other words, Buffett is taking $188 billion out of the productive economy where it could fund startups or expansions or R&D, and instead he's investing in the federal Leviathan. It's not betting on the American economy, it's betting on the predator of the American economy. Moreover, Buffett is just one of many. So Exxon is sitting on $33 billion despite record oil prices. Maybe they could invest in more production. Ford has 34, Apple's parked 67, Amazon is at 85 billion, and Google has $108 billion. In all, just 20 American companies are currently parking nearly $900 billion in bonds instead of investing in the economy. Seen in that light, Buffett's cash hoard isn't just a warning for today, it is a prediction for tomorrow.
Well, and I have read reports that Warren Buffett was not only storing cash, but he was storing, along with Pelosi and others, a lot of the Iraqi dinar. And no, they're not RVing. More like, yeah, I won't even say it. It's going to be a hot summer of tribunals. Let's just say that these people have been rounded up who have been convicted by the international criminal courts, and they have been taken care of. And this is the movie playing out. So this is a very exciting time to be alive. We are going to have some fun here. And if you're just waking up, it may not be much fun for you. And I hear you, and I understand, and I have that understanding of what you're going through. And some of you are going to experience more pain than joy in the beginning. But yet we have a soft place to land to hear the truth. And I hope that you feel that. This is the last thing Allison and I saw ourselves doing. And yet with truthers like Echo, pardon me, we're getting more. Go ahead.
To end the feds. And from a unanimous vote from the X community to end the feds at 87%, U.S. Representative Thomas Massie from Kentucky, the Bluegrass State, let's go, 4th Congressional District, has just introduced a bill called End the Feds, Federal Reserve Board Abolish Act. H.R. 8421. This bill would remove the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 that was introduced into law. And the reason why he introduced this bill is because he understands that Americans are suffering under crippling inflation. And it's the Federal Reserve that is to blame. During COVID, the Federal Reserve created trillions of dollars out of thin air and loaned it to the Treasury Department to enable unprecedented deficit spending. By monetizing the debt, the Federal Reserve devalued the dollar and enabled free money policies and caused high inflation we see today. If we really want to reduce inflation, the most effective policy is to end the Federal Reserve. Did you know that inflation is just another form of taxation? And it's true, because if you understood how the money really operated, then you would know that we have lost over 99.7% of our purchasing power since the creation of the Federal Reserve. They're one of the many reasons why the U.S. national debt is at a staggering $34 trillion, because they just keep on printing the money, taking care of themselves on the back end, while we, the people, are the ones that are suffering. So this is where we, the people from the United States of America, come in to help. Contact your state representative. Let them know that you are in support of Tom Massie in the Fed bill, H.R. 8421. Make sure you give him a follow on X so you can keep up with the bill. Like this post, share it, hashtag in the feds. And this is why it's so important to know what you hold. Let's go.
Let's go. Who's ready to go? I am. Woohoo! We are so close, everyone. So close. And we know those words like it's happening soon. I know. I get it. I feel it too. It's like that word soon is going to be filed away. And yet, look at the macronomics is what Mark Z's always telling us. And my husband has been following the same people that Mark has been for many years. Those strategists and speculators, they've been warning us for decades. And so I've been absorbing this, listening to my husband on his financial periodicals that he subscribed to. He's a very, very smart and educated man, very shy. We're complete. Do you ever see that you attract the opposite so that you balance out and make a powerful team? Well, that's my husband and I. We're a powerful team. And he is 70 years old, and his declaration has always been to retire by the age of 70. And so, with this collapse, may your heart be open and compassionate to those who don't know what's going on so that you can help them. If you have food or resources, just pointing them to alternative news, channels like this one or other ones, you've got to find your flavor that resonates with you. Personally, Allison and I are of the belief, and I'll speak for myself, I am of the belief that the Mossad media controlled us to keep us divided with all their racism. It's not that we don't have it, it's that they have supercharged fuel, rocket fuel, into creating the racism narrative. Yet the Democratic Party, if you look back in history, and that Congressman Byrd who anointed Hillary or Killary, I mean, it goes way back, but they were actually the ones who created the Ku Klux Klan. They were the ones who wanted the slaveries. It was the Republicans who didn't want that. And yet our history books have been lie after lie after lie. And that's why our educational system is going to collapse as well. It's being revamped, and we will have the truth about our earth. And how old is it really? Is it millions of years old or only about 6,000 years old? Are we a heliocentric spinning globe in the universe? Never made sense to me as a small child. Didn't get that. Or are we on more of a flat plane with a dome over it that you can't penetrate the firmament that keeps us enclosed? No, we haven't been to the moon. I mean, all of it. So yes, our education system needs to be revamped. And thank you, Margaret. Yes, absolutely. The more of us that bond together in the truth, not for any geopolitical agenda, not for, I forgot what I was going to say. We're band together in truth because, I was going to say, not for a religious sector. We are truthers of the heart, to unite people, to bring them together. I have so many gay friends, and yet so many people haven't traveled like I have, and haven't been in multi-dimensional communities for the past 35 years, where we just didn't focus on those kinds of differences. I don't sit around and think about people's sexual activities and pleasures. That's not my business. That's your business. Even if you want to be, cutting your body and changing your sex and all that, that's up to you. That's your power. Yet to bring that into our schools and to brainwash our children and have them thinking that this is a new normal is bullshit. It's got to go away. I'm not having anything to do with it. We're not financing it. I even met a man who is a transgender in Canada, and I think he's playing a part, or she, in our government right now. I can't think of the name. Yet it was my friend who was sitting next to me, and she said, "Did you notice the size of her hands and her body?" And I was clueless, and I started looking at her, and I went, "Oh my gosh. Yeah, she does look like a man. She sounds like a man." This is been their narrative, to make these sex changes and giving hormones to children that are ruining lives, because then the children grow up and they thought they were taking care of one problem, and now they just wish they could reverse it all. Well, hopefully with the med beds, they will be able to do something like that. Enough is enough. Yes, the Crystal Lady. And her Woundness says that Pascal Najadi is a big component in this spiritual war. And Clearly Wellness says yes, and Ivan Rinklin is too. We are so happy. We are so joyous, and we are free. Yes, I love the Ho'oponopono too. It is a Hawaiian prayer. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you, and thank you. If you have any kind of, trigger or resentment with another person, you can say that. Just the energy of that will be felt. by that person. It's just like Alice and I connecting when I was in the shower and she was working on the computer. We were aligning on something. It's just like the time my mother called me on the phone and I had picked up my phone to dial her and she was already on the other end. No dial tone, no ring. We are connected. You and I are connected. So let's manage our emotions, our thoughts, and our feelings. Feel them. Let them come out, because intuition comes from the word to move out, or pardon me, emotions to move out, and then to activate that intuitive intelligence within you. When two or more are gathered, that's where the power comes in. So this is our opportunity to allow you to be who you are, bringing the gifts, innate gifts you have, and to be able to align with people that you resonate with. And if that's not me, so be it. Bless you. I love you. And with, oh my goodness, we're going to go ahead and play one of my favorite people who I was introduced to first through her videos. And then I asked Spirit, I said, really, I need an anon because these Q drops are amazing decodes. And there's going to be many movies written about anons like Amanda Decode, like Phil, etc. Well, Phil's making his own movies and it's about to launch the JFK video. And the 29th is JFK's birthday. So watch for that to come out. It's on. We'll play the trailer at the end and you can sign up to receive it. So Jeremy, Patriot Prince. So then when I asked Spirit, I need an anon that I can communicate with. Then Phil mentioned Jerry. I was in the back office in locals and I said, who is Jerry? Where can we find Jerry? And then Jeremy spoke up and said, that's me. And I met him. He's got a Telegram channel called Patriots Rising. We're working together. So please trust these people. Well, you don't have to trust anybody. We build a foundation of trust by our relationships. And yet these anons have been telling us and showing us the Q drops and connecting them to the deep dives, follow the money. And it's been absolutely amazing. And I don't know how many people are like me, spent the last 4 years digging through those, and they're powerful truths. So here's to the truther movement. Cheers to you, because all of your hard work, all of you veterans and doctors and moms and dads and just people who could not take it anymore. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And so we have cut the head of the snake off and we're rising. The Patriots are rising in truth, not with one party or another. That's just been created to divide us. Bye-bye. I hope it all goes away. And we can just have people that we elect without $100 million phony butt campaign to get us to believe the BS and the narrative that we're being shown, like Barack Obama. I voted for him. Like George Bush Sr., I voted for him. I was consider myself more of an independent, and yet they were all lies. So I was what do you call it? MLK ultra'd into our government. I didn't understand government. I wanted to when I got sober in August 28, 1988. I wanted to learn more about politics. And it was confusing for me. I'm like, okay, now what's a Democrat again and what's a Republican? I was clueless. And yet when I learned and started paying attention and really focusing on wanting to be a participant in who I was backing, now I realize, and most of you have too, that it was all BS. They weren't, we don't elect presidents, we anoint them. And it's the same in Canada. It's the same everywhere because the cabal comes in and does what Barack Obama did. And that's why I saw it right away with him within the first month or so. First, he's given the Nobel Peace Prize for what? Being selected. And then he went on the Cover Revolution tour. And so then we saw the Middle East blowing up. And now we have all the evidence on him and what he was doing and the drone attacks on the innocent civilians. These are things that these Q truthers were showing us. While people have been watching the mainstream media for the last 4 years, we were seeing the videos and the targets and the children on and on and on. So we're done with that. And, we rest in the comfort of knowing that we have already won the war. Baja Girl says, Nancy and Allison, you are gifts from God, and I'm grateful for you both. Well, thank you, Baja. The light in me sees the light in you. And the Christ consciousness of loving our brothers and sisters within me sees that Christ consciousness in you, whatever we choose to call it. The Prosperity Playground is where we elevate our consciousness for holistic health, mind, body, spirit, emotions, finances, and relationships. Those are the pillars and the foundation of everything we do. We are peacemakers and healers. We're miracle makers because we co-create miracles together within ourselves and within others. So, oh, well, let me see. She just responded. Like how people describe Christ's light shining so bright, may I also shine as brightly. Come on over, girlfriend. Join our Telegram chat. We'd love to have you. Yes, it's the light within you, no matter what you call it. It's our crystalline bodies of light, and we're connected through the ethers, through the spirit. And our thoughts are communicating with one another. And you can feel it. When you're an empath like me, you can feel people's judgment. They don't even have to open their mouths. You can walk in a room, look in their eyes, and feel if their heart is open or closed. And sometimes we close, for protection, but we can open, just like that flower that closes at nighttime and then opens when the sunlight hits it in the morning. We're no different. We need the light. We need the light. We are the light. We are the light. And that's so beautiful. So let's go ahead and have one of my favorites, as I was starting to introduce her before, is Patriot Princess.
You're whining because nothing's happening and you want dates and times. You have to listen close. They're telling you. Comms everywhere.
And this is the bomb at the end of the day. If this is the bomb at the end of the day.
You got to pay attention, Patriots. They're telling you. You are getting military intelligence dropped to you, we the people. Bomb at the end of the day. Which day? We don't know. That's not for us to know. That's for God and the military. But they're telling you there will be a bomb at the end of a day. Do you remember the video I did the other day of Jack Schlossberg, Jack Juno, on Instagram? He said, have a safe flight. He said safe 9 times. Safe 31. Moab 31. Mother of all bombs. Echo 31. Trump has been in an echo chamber giving his speeches from the courtroom. And Phil, he's been posting the bomb emoji.
This is the bomb at the end of the day. It's going to be an epic rematch. 4 years ago, we had 2 debates. This year, we have 2 debates. It's going to happen. Get your popcorn ready this June and this September, because it's going to be a battle.
I have my popcorn ready every day. Yes, yes, we've needed. It's 2024, peak 2024. All right, more on number next.
Did you hear that? He said 422. Q post 422. Test 2. Think mirror 224. Q post 224. Who knows where the bodies are buried? The map is in front of you.
Get your popcorn ready this June and this September, because it's going to be a battle.
Did you hear that? He said June and September. Pay attention, Patriots. The military is literally dropping you dates. This is going to be big, like nothing we have ever seen before. It will look like World War III is playing out on American soil. Military activation, it will look like we're getting attacked. Bombs will be going off, but really they'll be bombing all the satanic sites and buildings where all these horrible things were happening to children and humanity. And while this is all happening, this is a perfect time to implement Nisara Jasara. Daniel 2:21. He controls the course of the world events. He removes kings and he sets up new kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. He changes times and seasons. He disposes of kings and sets up new kings.
The bombs, okay? The bombs are going to go off. It's going to appear like World War III has landed in our countries. Yet, as she said, they're taking out the satanic ritual sites where all of this has been done. So watch for those 33 cities, Washington, D.C., and oh, did you want to play the rest, Allison? She said there was a little bit more on there. Did you want to go ahead? Okay, she's setting it up.
I'm just so sexy. It was
Yes,
just the
you
end.
are.
It was just the end
Okay.
of her. I thought, because there's at least another 30 seconds, but it's her outro.
Okay.
So sorry.
That's all right.
I wanted to
Thank
make sure we
you.
got all the information we could from it.
So when you hear, alerts going off, sirens sounding, it will appear that we are being attacked and under war. So rest in the comfort of knowing that this isn't going to be directed at the civilians. This will be directed at those sites. Don't be surprised if that big, tall pyramid, what is that thing called, Allison, in Washington, D.C.? The Sibylus. Anyways, so many sites are going to be attacked in London, in the Vatican, all around the world. So, or across the globe, or across the flat earth. It's confusing. Even I'm trying to keep myself straight. So that's all we have for you in terms of, the important updates. Be prepared, not scared. And from my heart to your heart, if you're interested in patching and praying, or patching and holding space for yourself and other people to see the effects that this has, Allison and I will be explaining it and sharing more content and information so that you can know what the double-blind studies have revealed. For example, colon cancer. It doesn't cure it. What it does in their studies is it went in and it reignited and replenished and repaired those tissues and cells in the colon. And so the cancer was gone. I've been saying since 1986, when I discovered cancer are simply cells that have gone wonky. And when we replenish them and rejuvenate them, then they will return to health, vibrancy, and miracles will happen. We are looking forward to seeing you. Feel free to email me at nancy@nancykerner.com. I'm leaving town on Friday. Won't be back till Tuesday. Not sure if we'll have a show on Tuesday or what will happen. Yet Allison and I will be communicating so she could get the word out. And if we need to play a recorded video or whatever's. So once we get back, then I will be doing the deep dive into making sure that everyone has what they need. And tonight you're going to be hearing Phil talk more about them, perhaps. Just remember, we are on his golden carpet team. I've never felt this kind of blessing, this kind of leadership, this kind of structure to help so many people, to be able to be a brand partner at a time when we know that so many jobs are going away. Real estate agents, the whole insurance industry, people who are sales reps for them, the pharmaceutical companies. You could go on and on and on. And if in the medical field, you will either be retrained or you will leave that medical field. We all need, and especially those who are under 62, in order to receive the gifts and the benefits of Nasara Jasara, you need to agree to be able to continue working. And remember, working for yourself, self-employment is a job. And so this team is helping people to be successful in a way that I've never seen before. It is powerful, it's prosperous, it's aligned with the truth. And the feeling that I get when I'm connecting with our new dream team is one of peace, joy, and infinite hope, miracles, and possibilities. And so I invite you to join us on Telegram and in Discord, because that's where we can have more conversations about what's going on in the world as you wake up or as you choose to find a community. I love that we have finally, I did personally, decided that Discord, which we're not fanning the fires of Discord in my channel. We are igniting and activating the healing power of love. And so please join us if you are called to. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for everyone who's been emailing me, sending me links and things like that. I can't keep up with everyone, and that's why we need a unified place so that we can all gather together and have these conversations that are revolutionary, going to change the world. And I look forward to my results in healing, aging backwards, because we're meant to live for hundreds of years. It's a big lie that we're supposed to die by 70. We are in incredible deep gratitude that you have chosen to watch the show. So please shine your light bright, because you have gifts that I don't have or Allison has, and we have gifts that we can share with you. And together, we're just going to be a gift to humanity on the Prosperity Playground. I love you, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Aloha.
November 22nd, 1963. A day that shook America. But what if history as we know it is not the true story of events? 104, JFK's journey beyond the grassy knoll unveils an untold chapter where resilience turns tragedy into a covert mission against unseen enemies. From the depths of seclusion, a fallen leader rises to challenge the deep state, shaping a legacy far beyond the limelight. Discover the hidden journey of a president who survived to fight from the shadows. Coming soon.
Whatever you believe in your thoughts will play out, but is the reason they don't pop into existence.
All changes take place in consciousness. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we have before us the choice of which of several futures we will choose. There are two actual outlooks on the world possessed by everyone, a natural focus and a spiritual focus. The ancient teachers called the one the carnal mind, the other the mind of Christ. We may differentiate them as ordinary waking consciousness, governed by our senses, and a controlled imagination, governed by desire.
The habit of seeing only that which our senses permit renders us totally blind to what we otherwise could see. To cultivate the faculty of seeing the invisible, we should often deliberately disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses and focus our attention on an invisible state, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has all the distinctness of reality. Earnest, concentrated thought, focused in a particular direction, shuts out other sensations and causes them to disappear. We have but to concentrate on the state desired in order to see it. The habit of withdrawing attention from the region of sensation and concentrating it on the invisible develops our spiritual outlook. and enables us to penetrate beyond the world of sense and to see that which is invisible.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. Romans 1:20.
This vision is completely independent of the natural faculties. Open it and quicken it. Without it, these instructions are useless, for the things of the Spirit are spiritually discerned. A little practice will convince us that we can, by controlling our imagination, reshape our future in harmony with our desire. Desire is the mainspring of action. We could not move a single finger unless we had a desire to move it. No matter what we do, we follow the desire which at the moment dominates our minds. When we break a habit, our desire to break it is greater than our desire to continue in the habit. The desires which impel us to action are those that hold our attention.
The things that make you happy? Go do those things. Like right now. What are you waiting for? Go!
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com, on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the creator of the Wave Watch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. You've got to hear some testimonies from people just like you. I absolutely love this Wave Watch. It has helped me with occasional aches, cramps in my muscles. I twisted my knee a month ago, and the Wave Watch has helped tremendously with the pain while healing. And how about this one from Debbie in Colorado? My left leg was hurt bad enough that I would cry when walking to the doctor. Doctor appointments are $170, and chiropractic sessions were $45 many times for the last 2 years. My hands and neck are stiff. My leg quit throbbing within 5 minutes of the session for bursitis, and 2 hours later, still no pain. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the Wave Watch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease? It's the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. Wave Watch is not connected to the internet. There are no messy cords and patches. There's no monthly fee. It's very simple, easy self-care. And best of all, people are comparing it, saying it's like a med bed on your wrist.
To order your Wave Watch, go to wavewatch.com and be sure to use the discount code Nancy100 at checkout to receive $100 off your order today.